My name is Jenny. I'm one of the Active Leads coaches. We're going to spend 20 minutes doing some very careful, simple exercises just to mobilise ourselves. Maybe we've been sitting on a couch rather a lot or dashing around, so we can think about nice, safe movements for your joints as well as some balance, but nothing complicated. And it just gets us stretched and moving out of some stiffness as well. You can wear whatever you like. You can wear trainers or bare feet or your shoes, as long as you're safe and you're not going to slip. This is my kitchen counter, so you can do it in somewhere where you can hold on to, which will give you a bit of security for balance as well. So you can be in the kitchen while something's cooking while you do this. It's absolutely fine. Or find a chair. We're going to start with our feet nice and broad so we feel really stable, and if we can get our toes pointing forward so we can protect all our joints. And again, you can do it holding onto a work surface. Pop your hand to your hip or you can have it hanging down. So we're going to imagine we've got a chair behind us and we're going to hinge. We're going to push your hips back as if you're just looking for a stool, and then you're going to push back up. Really simple, but if we do it slowly and thinking about what we're doing, these kinds of exercises and movements can really help. So we're pushing back for that imaginary chair, bring the arms forward, and then we can squeeze back up to stand tall. So we're pushing at the hips, we're looking after our spine, and then we're pushing out of our feet. Maybe a little squeeze at the bottom never goes amiss, and that actually helps support your back. So we're going to push down, squeeze up. I've got you nice and wide, and you can work with both arms coming forward. What we don't want to do is squash our lower back. So you don't have to go deep, just push and squeeze forward. So we're really just mobilizing into our joints, squeezing and opening the front of our hips, which can get really tight. This is a great way to bend. If you're checking the turkey in the oven or something, trying to think about a hinge to protect your back, work your joints, and actually get a bit of tone and condition into the old thighs as you push back up. And you can really feel yourself standing tall, shoulders pushing down. You don't have to take your arms high. If you've got shoulder issues, keep them low, push. And actually, the slower you do this, the harder it's going to feel. Make sure your knees are happy. A good way to check is those knees are over your second, third toe. So we're using all of our joints lined up, all of our leg muscles, pushing out. It's great as well if you're sitting on a hardback chair, when you're down on your chair, really practicing trying to push out of a chair. So you really, some chairs are a bit low for this, or a stool. If you're sitting, having a glass of wine or a coffee, push yourselves out, using the thighs, which are designed to do that, and your glutes, your bottom muscles, rather than pulling and straining. So practicing that action is a brilliant place to start. From there, we can think about a bit of balance. You've got quite a wide, stable base. Hold your kitchen surface or the wall or something, or a chair. You can pop your hand onto the other hip, and we can think about standing tall, gazing forward, often finding something to look at that doesn't move. So obviously you're probably watching me move, but find maybe it's a dirty mark on the wall or it's something fixed. Gaze at it, and let's just get those heels lifting. And we're pushing up again out of the ground and slowly bringing ourselves down. What we try not to do with balance, and again you could be using both hands to make yourself feel really secure. You can feel a nice little stretch coming up the calves, which often get really neglected, and very tight. And just feel yourself lifting and lowering, just releasing. It's really nice to stand up straight. Sometimes we spend a lot of time maybe on sofas or hunched over desks or in the car, just standing up straight, thinking about your head on top of your neck, your shoulders on top of your hips on top of knees and ankles, lifting and lowering. And if you want to make it a bit harder, bring the legs in, make it feel a little bit tighter. If you're really getting into that while the kettle's boiling or you're waiting for something, a little bit of balance balance work anytime is really useful. Holding again if you need, holding here, not holding, and have a go at pushing a leg up. Use your muscles. Push, so it's like a slow motion march. And again, really simple, but it's just teaching ourselves to try and stand tall, have strong legs, and push up and away. So again, all of this you could do, little bits of it, in the kitchen, or when you're waiting for somebody, or you're standing in the queue at the supermarket. I'm always telling my classes, do some heel rises, practice standing on one leg, nobody will notice. Feel the wobble, that's fine, as long as you're not going to feel very insecure about it. So little things like that can make a really big difference. So we've done those lifting of the leg, alternate legs, slow, push. And what we're trying not to do is crunch down. We're trying to stay tall and float, and that's why some support is often a really good idea, so you can concentrate on your nice strong leg action, which will really help. Good. Let's bring those legs down. You have your hands not high up but onto those hips. Bend your knees. Let's get a little bit of movement into our lower backs again. Slumping on sofas is terrible for our lower back over a long period of time. If we can just find a moment in the day to release it, so we can just bend the knees, and it's almost like doing a hula hoop. So you can have a little bit of a disco element there as you roll it round, trying to keep the knees and your shoulders still, and then you can really find the movement in your lower back. So maybe that's quite a festive move for a Christmas party, but think about pushing the feet into the floor and really trying to get this lower back to move around, as long as it feels safe to do. You can put your hands and support yourself on your thighs, and it's another nice way of just finding that lower back to just open it out a little bit. You're almost tucking your tailbone under and releasing it. It's sometimes quite tricky to find that feeling, but it's worth giving it a go. And then we're going to release that there. Okay, so a little bit of nice movement for the hips. Again, hold on here while you work, or hold on with one arm, or don't hold on, it's entirely up to you. Let's pick up a leg and then push it out. So we're drawing a little circle. Again, lots of sitting or hunched over gets very tight around our hips. And often if we're walking, we're not kind of doing sideways stuff, so it's really nice to try and get a little bit of hip mobility. Obviously, if your hips don't like that, I would stay just lifting and lowering them and just exploring. You don't need to go crazy. You can see I'm going to do a silly demonstration, but this great big one, actually, I'm just pulling off my work surface and out of my back. So we're trying to protect our backs, and then we can change sides. So just feeling it's that lovely little bit of movement in the hip socket, just blowing out the cobwebs, finding a little bit of openness and stretch as well as a little bit of strength. So we'll leave that there. There's a bit more movement we could try now. So again, work with some support. We're going to do a little step forward. So again, another good move for when you're checking the oven, or you need to get under that Christmas tree and you don't want to come forward and throw yourself and hurt your knees. Keep your body back while we take one leg out, step it, and then we just drop, push it back. Change legs, step it out, drop it back. Sometimes our knees are really grumbly. There may be issues with your knees, don't need to push it deep. Take a step, drop. You can use your bottom muscles as well, so always looking for an opportunity to get them going north rather than feeling that they're going south. Push, step, squeeze. Support those poor old knees. Find the footwork, feel stable, using your surface, in and out. Step and drop. So you can see, hopefully, my shoulders are staying back. If I was doing this, I'm more likely to hurt my knees and my back, particularly if you're going to get a great big turkey out of the oven. So you just need to think about really staying safe and solid. So we've got those nice little lunges forward. Make that your last one there. Lovely, just shake that off. Let's think now about some openness to the side of our bodies. Again, we get very tight. It's very nice to move our bodies sideways and get our spine. We've taken it forward a little bit, now we can take it sideways. So find a really stable base. There's no balance here. You don't need to be holding on to something, but push these arms down, draw your shoulders down. Feel safe with your feet spread. Try and get those toes pointing forward, maybe just slightly turned out. Okay, we're going to take ourselves over. I'm sliding you down. We don't want to pull this arm up because we want to open this side of the body, and then we're going to stack the spine. Again, a really nice feeling of openness and stretch. It's great. Some of these moves as well, just slightly de-stressing you, maybe just taking a couple of moments out of the routine to just focus on finding some nice, strong but safe movement. And it is strong in a good way if you're doing it nice and slowly. You want to feel, I'm going to take an arm overhead, but it doesn't have to happen if you've got a shoulder issue. And we're just keeping that stretch, hips, armpit. We're not needing to move the pelvis. And then we really can stand tall and feel the spine. That's absolutely fine there. Could try it there. You don't have to have big arms. Pushing out. And what we often do, especially when we are stressed and busy, we pull with our heads. You know, we pull forward, we pull it around. It weighs a lot, the head. So try and keep it on top of your spine as you push out. Good. We're pushing into that ground, pushing away, feeling that lovely side feeling. And now we're going to take the hands, interlace your hands. You've got that nice wide stride. I'll show you side on. You're going to bend your knees, have a go at tucking your tailbone under, and we get this really lovely back stretch. We're not over pulling, but there's a gentle pull, and you can absolutely use your kitchen surface. Don't pull on something that's going to come away, but you can pull, and don't go crazy, but feel the back open. Imagine those vertebrae popping out. So again, while the kettle's boiling, you can stand at your kitchen surface, bend your knees, tuck your tailbone. Feel that lovely open back, pulling down, pushing up. And again, we've incorporated using that lovely push through the thighs to get us up again, out of our armchair or out of our stool or whatever we're sitting into. And let's just use the arms now to increase that. It's very nice to stretch again. Very nice when we get stressed and tight. We carry it up here. So if you take your arms out to the side, we're going to bring them forward like you're holding an enormous beach ball. We wish. Tuck your tailbone under. Feel that stretch so you're really round that imaginary ball. And then as you stand up, have a go at squeezing your elbows as if they're trying to get them to touch each other. And you get this really lovely, safe stretch across the front of your body. So we're opening out. Think of those shoulder blades being slightly separated. And then we're squeezing them together. And again, you're using that nice push, that nice squatting action in the leg muscles, pushing and squeezing and stretching and feeling that back. And then let's just release those shoulders. Let's try a squat now. So we've done those little stepping lunges. We've done some hinging. A squat is a different way of safely bending. You want nice wide legs. Often in the classes, I kind of encourage people to go wider. Turn your feet out comfortably. And then we're going to push the hips back. And again, you can absolutely do it on your kitchen surface. Like we've already practiced with our hinging, we're going to push the hips back. Check your knees, cover your feet, and then you know your joints are nice and safe. So we're pushing back. And then you can feel these legs work. Squeeze up through your bottom, stand tall. And you're trying to keep your chest lifted. So we're not trying to come down here and collapse, we're trying to stay sliding down and then squeezing and pushing up. So again, just a few of these while you're in the kitchen or you're waiting for something, just finding that safe squat, pushing back. And actually we're thinking about the back of our head to the lower back in that long line. And we're getting these lovely open thighs. And you can always hold yourself here, have a little wriggle round with the lower back and the hips. You could go a little bit deeper, have a little stretch. These inner thighs often go and get stretched really. And again, we're getting the hips to open up, which is always a good thing to do in daily life. So we're just feeling that position. We could add the arms if you're fine without holding something. You don't need to go deep. The knees are definitely safe if they're pushing over those middle toes, and you can hold. You could even count yourself and go 1, 2 down, 2, 1, push it up. So there's lots of things you can do when you've got the idea of just incorporating. You don't need to get changed into anything different. You don't need to change your footwear, you don't need to leave the house, but you can use chairs and props to help you with that. So just let's drop down, let's just release in that little hula hoop again. Lovely. And then just to finish, let's stay in this position, this lovely standing squat position. We can lift and lower the heels and we'll feel that little lift into the calves. So again, that balance, slightly different angle here. You might want to hold on completely, lift and lower. You might want to turn the toes to point forward and change it slightly. Lift, and you might want to take your hand away. Don't look down, keep that gaze, keep that chin on a shelf in your mind's eye, so you're just carrying yourself. And you can feel some nice warming up in your calf muscles, which again can easily get tight and left out if you're having to sit a lot. If you're choosing to sit a lot, it's fine, just finding those little moments through your Christmas holidays. Good, and then let's definitely turn the toes forward. Let's find to finish a very nice safe stretch. So again, using your surface with that nice wide position, you can push your hips back and carefully bring yourself down. And then you can just adjust and find that lovely stretch up the back of your legs, but we've got some support. We could even do it here for backs that might feel a bit unhappy about moving, or it might be a long time since you've done some movement. So just feeling it there. If you're fine without support, you can have your hands here, we're just pressing out, and I can feel that nice stretch. Try not to, it's really hard not to, just drop the head and shoulders. Try to find a safe position here as we come forward. And again, it might just give you half a minute of release. Just a moment to focus on the back of those legs, trying to just open up a little bit. So that's just a little taster really of some movement patterns that are everyday, simple. You can use them in your daily life when you're hauling those Brussels sprouts around and carrying a Christmas tree out, thinking about nice strong shapes that you can make with your body. So thank you very much everybody, and I hope you have a really lovely Christmas.